welcome to our annual Smart Parenting online workshop. My name is Oluwatoyin Ogunkomi. I am a family life practitioner, I'm a psychologist, and I'm also the founder of Parenting Support System. I'm the author of Smart Parenting, Help Who's the Stranger in My Home, and the Parenting Journal. At Parenting Support System, our major goal is to help parents, to provide parents with practical tools, information, and resources to raise their children into well-balanced adults. And one of the tools we provide parents is our workshop. Every year, we have our annual workshop where we invite parents, where we provide them with skills, tools, and resources on how to raise their children for the year. Our theme for this year is preparing your adolescents for the future. It's no longer news that the world is evolving. We all know that new things are coming up every day, new innovation, new technological advancements, new jobs are coming up. Are your children ready for this future? That is why at this year's Smart Parenting online workshop, we have seasoned professionals who have worked with adolescents, who have worked with teenagers, and who are working with young adults. These seasoned professionals will be giving us different topics. We'll be talking about different topics on how to prepare your children for the future. We have someone that will be talking to us about how to create a sense of purpose and grit. We have another person who will be talking to us on how to raise responsible and independent adults. What about life skills? We need to learn how to equip our children with life skills that will help them to survive independent living. We have another person who will be talking to us on character building and career development. Social skills is another thing we'll be discussing, because it's one thing for your child to be academically sound, to be physically fit, but not socially equipped. So we have a communication expert who will be talking to us on social skills. And finally, we'll be having a business guru who will be teaching us and giving us tips on how to help our children to become financially independent and also financially disciplined. What are you waiting for? If you've not registered, please go and register. Invite your friends, invite other parents of adolescents, other parents of emerging adults to be part of this workshop, and you wouldn't regret that you did. Thank you. Yes. You're all welcome to the second session of day 2. This is our fourth session for this Smart Parenting online workshop. And we've had 3 amazing speakers. And guess what? We're about to have the fourth person who is going to dish it out the way it is. She's someone I know. She's someone I've worked with. She's my boss in the children's department in church, and she's someone I know that has worked with teenagers for more than 10 to 20, let me not exaggerate, almost 20 years. So this evening, we have someone very dear to me, who will be talking to us on how to build healthy character traits in our children. And also, she will also be talking about career development. So for those in the house, let's welcome our guests. I'm adding her now. When I add, I'm going to read out our profile. See the beautiful lady coming up. Hello. Hello, Mama. How are you doing?
I can't hear you.
I can see you. I can hear you.
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay, do you want me to take you off and bring you back? Okay, let's wait. Do you want me to? Okay, I've taken her off. I'm gonna bring her back on. She said she couldn't hear me. So let me try it again. Hello? Okay, you are muted. Hello? Can you hear me?
We are here together, but I can't hear her.
I can hear you
In the
very, very
studio, I can't
well.
hear.
Let's see. Can you see me now?
She's muted. You're muted. Because she's muted, you can't hear her.
Can you see me now? Hello, can you see me? See me? Hello?
I can see you. I can't see you.
You can see me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? 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 Can you hear me now?
Okay. I can see you. I can't hear.
Hello everyone, you're welcome to our annual Smart Parenting online workshop. My name is Oluwatoyin Ogunkomi. I am a family life practitioner, I'm a psychologist, and I'm also the founder of Parenting Support System. I'm the author of Smart Parenting, Help Who's the Stranger in My Home, and the Parenting Journal. At Parenting Support System, our major goal is to help parents, to provide parents with practical tools, information, and resources to raise their children into well-balanced adults. And one of the tools we provide parents is our workshop. Every year, we have our annual workshop where we invite parents, where we provide them with skills, tools, and resources on how to raise their children for the year. Our theme for this year is preparing your adolescents for the future. It's no longer news that the world is evolving. We all know that new things are coming up every day, new innovation, new technological advancements, new jobs are coming up. Are your children ready for this future? That is why at this year's Smart Parenting online workshop, we have seasoned professionals who have worked with adolescents, who have worked with teenagers, and who are working with young adults. These seasoned professionals will be giving us different topics. We'll be talking about different topics on how to prepare your children for the future. We have someone that will be talking to us about how to create a sense of purpose and grit. We have another person who will be talking to us on how to raise responsible and independent adults. What about life skills? We need to learn how to equip our children with life skills that will help them to survive independent living. We have another person who will be talking to us on character building and career development. Social skills is another thing we'll be discussing, because it's one thing for your child to be academically sound, to be physically fit, but not socially equipped. So we have a communication expert who will be talking to us on social skills. And finally, we'll be having a business guru basically teaching us and giving us tips on how to help our children to become financially independent and also financially disciplined. What are you waiting for? If you've not registered, please go and register. Invite your friends, invite other parents of adolescents, other parents of emerging adults to be part of this workshop, and you wouldn't regret that you did. Thank you. Can you hear me now? So I'm adding her
No,
now.
I can't hear
Hello,
you
can you
now.
hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Wow. Wow. What's happening tonight? And I can hear you very, very well. I can hear you, I can see you. Oh my
You
goodness.
can
So what's
go on
happening
live.
tonight?
Let's see.
Let's see. Wow. But can you see
I
me?
can't hear you. Is she live now?
Can you see me? Can you see me?
I can see you, but I can't see.
But you can't hear me. Wow, this
I don't
is
know what to do here.
okay. Do you know what you can do? Can you log on using another device? Maybe your phone or something. Let's try that.
What do I do now?
So I'm going to try logging on using another device. I've removed you. So I've removed her. This evening, we're talking about how to build healthy character traits in our children. And she will also be talking to us about career development. So she's going to log back on, and we'll start all over again. Hello everyone, you're welcome to our annual Smart Parenting online workshop. My name is Oluwatoyin Ogunkomi. I am a family life practitioner, I'm a psychologist, and I'm also the founder of Parenting Support System. I'm the author of Smart Parenting, Help Who's the Stranger in My Home, and the Parenting Journal. At Parenting Support System, our major goal is to help parents, to provide parents with practical tools, information, and resources to raise their children into well-balanced adults. And one of the tools we provide parents is our workshop. Every year, we have our annual workshop where we invite parents, where we provide them with skills, tools, and resources on how to raise their children for the year. Our theme for this year is preparing your adolescents for the future. It's no longer news that the world is evolving. We all know that new things are coming up every day, new innovation, new technological advancements, new jobs are coming up. Are your children ready for this future? That is why at this year's Smart Parenting online workshop, we have seasoned professionals who have worked with adolescents, who have worked with teenagers, and who are working with young adults. These seasoned professionals will be giving us different topics. We'll be talking about different topics on how to prepare your children for the future. We have someone that will be talking to us about how to create a sense of purpose and grit. We have another person who will be talking to us on how to raise responsible and independent adults. What about life skills? We need to learn how to equip our children with life skills that will help them to survive independent living. We have another person who will be talking to us on character building and career development. Social skills is another thing we'll be discussing, because it's one thing for your child to be academically sound, to be physically fit but not socially equipped. So we have a communication expert who will be talking to us on social skills. And finally, we'll be having a business guru who will be teaching us and giving us tips on how to help our children to become financially independent and also financially disciplined. What are you waiting for? If you've not registered, please go and register. Invite your friends, invite other parents of adolescents, other parents of emerging adults to be part of this workshop, and you wouldn't regret that you did. Thank you. You're welcome to our annual Smart Parenting online workshop. My name is Toyin Ogunkomi. I am a family life practitioner, I'm a psychologist, and I'm also the founder of Parenting Support System. I'm the author of Smart Parenting, Help Who's the Stranger in My Home, and the Parenting Journal. At Parenting Support System, our major goal is to help parents, to provide parents with practical tools, information and resources to raise their children into well-balanced adults. And one of the tools we provide parents is our workshop. Every year we have our annual workshop where we invite parents, where we provide them with skills, tools and resources on how to raise their children for the year. Our theme for this year is preparing your adolescents for the future. It's no longer news that the world is evolving. We all know that new things are coming up every day, new innovation, new technological advancement, new jobs are coming up. Are your children ready for this future? That is why at this year's Smart Parenting online workshop, we have seasoned professionals who have worked with adolescents, who have worked with teenagers, and who are working with young adults. These seasoned professionals will be giving us different topics. We'll be talking about different topics on how to prepare your children for the future. We have someone that will be talking to us about how to create a sense of purpose and grit. We have another person who will be talking to us on how to raise responsible and independent adults. What about life skills? We need to learn how to equip our children with life skills that will help them to survive independent living. We have another person who will be talking to us on character building and career development. So we're back. Hopefully, it should work now. So I'm bringing our guest straight in to the studio.
Good evening.
Okay. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Ma. Do you have a system up there? I can hear echo in the background. Hello. So can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so great. So let's go. So this evening, there's an echo, so I think you should put off one of the devices you're using.
Okay. Are you on there? No, I'm not on any other device, just this.
Okay. So let me read out. It's an echo. And it's not from me here.
There's a echo. Okay, I'm not using any other device.
And can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, so let me just introduce you. I'll come out of the studio while you continue with what you have to say. So this evening we have Mrs. Oniade Oyeleke, who is a life coach that believes that every young person has the potential to achieve greatness. She has been a youth and teen mentor for over 20 years, and as a such, after public speaking on issues related to teenagers and emerging adults, has spoken in school, radio, television, on so many platforms. She's also the chief executive officer of Burial Travel, a travel and tour company that takes students on educational tours to different continents of the world. And she's also the creative director of Tips and Ankara, a one-stop shop for Ankara infused designs for children. So this evening, she'll be talking to us on how to build healthy character in our children and how to guide them in terms of their career development. So I'm going to go out of the studio so you can have the studio to yourself. Just please know how to do it.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sister Tony, as I used to call you. Thank you so much for giving me the platform to talk. And firstly, I'll be talking about building healthy character traits in our children. And of course, this is not something new. This is what we've been doing. We may not be doing it right enough, or we may be doing it wrongly, but tonight we're just going to look at some ways of building. I want us to, the key word here is building. It's not you have built it. We are still in that process. And like today, I shared something on my wall saying that don't be discouraged. I think it was yesterday. Don't be discouraged. You are still building. It's not yet built. So don't be discouraged. So let's quickly look at what is character in itself, so that we'll be on the same platform, we'll be on the same side when we are talking about how to build healthy character traits in our children. And we know that character simply means ethics in action. And the next question will be, what is ethics? And when we talk of ethics, we talk of moral principle that guide or govern our behavior. So when we are talking of how to build healthy character, we are talking of how to put into place moral principles, how to put moral principles into action, how to put moral principles into action. And like I said, it's a process. It's not an end in itself. It's a process. We keep doing it, especially for our children, until they become adults. And of course, we are all still learning until they become adults and they begin to learn more and more on how to become better people. So when we talk about building healthy characters in children, and we are really focusing on adolescents, we are trying to say that the ability for these adolescents or teenagers or children, as the case may be, to do the right thing when nobody is watching. And that is what we're just trying to do. When you are there, are they all nice and kind? But when you are not there, they are just something you don't even want to imagine. So when we talk about character, it's doing the right thing when no one is looking. Good character does not happen overnight. It's an accumulation of learning and mentorship. We have to teach deliberately. We have to seek for mentorship if it is possible. But let's just look at it. When we are talking about these healthy characters, what are the things that come to mind? We talk about having respectful children, humble, honest, hardworking, fair, disciplined. Those are the things that come to mind when we talk about healthy characters. fairness, humility, respectful. Those are the things that come to mind. So I'll just run through some ways of building healthy characters in children. Let us know that healthy character in children, building that in children, does not start when they are grown. It starts when a child is from 7 months. Some researchers will tell you that from 7 months you start building good characters. So it's not until they are adolescents. In fact, there's a school of thought that said a child is already molded at the age of 5, and the rest you do is to remove and to add. But who they are, what they choose to do, that there's a school of thought about that. So when we want to build healthy character, we don't start when they're adolescents. We start very early. But what if we did not do it very early, and this is now the time we realize that we have to do? It's never too late. But we have to know that we cannot start by force. If it's not something you have been doing, if it's not something you have been taking time to do deliberately, and you want to start deliberately, you don't just forcefully enter into that zone and say, now I want to build healthy character. You have to cool down and take a step at a time. And I think the first thing I will say is that you need to build a relationship with your child. I'm sure the other speakers, they talked about this. You cannot overemphasize this. The first step in building healthy character is building relationship. If you don't have any relationship with someone, you cannot influence the person. The last speaker talked about influence and all that too. You cannot influence someone you don't have a relationship with. It will be a brick wall. You will just be hitting a brick wall because the child is not ready to take anything in, and it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be frustrating. So the first step is that you have to build a relationship with your child, with your adolescent. What is your relationship like? I want you to know that when your child is getting to be an adolescent, there are some things that don't work again. Like our last speaker too rightfully said, all the shouting, all the spanking, may not just help. You have to change your methods. As your children are growing, you have to change the methods. I know there will be temptation to spank, there will be temptation to shout, but at this stage, what is most important is having a relationship with the adolescents. How are you? Are you the type that is too tough? You have to relax. Too intimidating? You have to relax. Too punitive? Everything you have to, show that there is consequence. Of course, there is consequence for every action, but you should be able to relate to your child in a friendly way. Friendly and firmly. That is the word I normally use. You must be friendly and you must be firm. So the first step is that you must have a good relationship. You must build a relationship. If not been talking, you can just start. And it's not the type you say, I'm building a relationship, and you want to build the relationship overnight as well. You come in, you want to no. Just give the child, when there's time, you talk, get to know yourself better, get to know your child, what happens in school. And the next step will be, you have to teach ethics and values intentionally. We have said ethics means moral principles. You have to teach it. You have to give example. You don't have to assume that when you say honesty, they know what honesty is. You have to tell them. And it's very good now because they understand. When they are babies, they learn more by observation. Even though they still learn by observation, we still get there. But most especially, don't assume they know what honesty is. So you talk about it. I know you may say, do I need to get a blackboard or a whiteboard and start teaching? You look for teachable moments. And teachable moment is always in a relaxed form. I always say for adolescents, for teenagers, teachable moments could be when you are watching a film together, and then you see a situation that brings up an avenue to discuss. You may even be watching football together and you notice something and say, can you see honesty? He did something really not acceptable and he owned up to it. That is honesty. When you do something, you know, and you talk about it, you give examples, and then, you know, you can even teach by case study. You know, when you are with your child, you can say something happened today. I just want to catch your brain on it. What do you think? You see, there was this child that was doing this, and you know, and your child may say, but there's nothing bad in that. Then you can use that opportunity to teach all these values and ethics. And something too is very important. I know I'm jumping now, but I'll soon go there. What are your family values? You know, what are the things you do at home? Do you have a family value, or anything, just anybody comes in, everybody does whatever they like? Because that will help you in teaching better. But if you don't have family values, it's not too late to have a family meeting and bring out your values. It will even be very, very interesting when you sit with your children and your spouse and say, what are the values? What are our values in this home? You know, so that they know that you stand for something. I know we talk about self-awareness for adults. It's also good for you to do this with children. What do we stand for in this family? We stand for honesty. We stand for hard work. That's why you see us, we do everything to put food on the table. We will not go the dishonest way, you know. So sometimes you are the family values. So let's continue. We have said number one is you build relationship. Number two, and I said you must be intentional, deliberate, and look for teachable moments. It's not all the time your children actually want to talk as well. Sometimes they are so tired, and when you are saying the thing, it doesn't make any meaning at that time. When it's fun time, talk about it, but you must talk about it deliberately. Now, you have to teach them to respect boundaries. You know, you have to teach your children to respect boundaries. When you teach your children to respect boundaries, they are building characters. You know, now when we are talking about character, it's like we are lumping everything together, all the humility, everything. So when you teach boundaries, they learn to respect others. They learn to respect others, and they learn to respect opinions of others. That is very, very important. The reason why a lot of people don't have the healthy character is because they don't know when to stop. They don't know when to stop. They don't respect personal space. They don't, you know, they are used to just doing anything anyhow. When you get to a class, you should be able to teach them to learn how to get into an environment. It's also in teaching boundaries. You get to a place, you just don't, you know, you have to settle in and look at what is happening. And when they know what is happening, then they can easily adapt to the situation. They are learning healthy characters. When you teach them that you don't barge into people's space, you don't barge into people's rooms, you don't just take people's thing, and you don't have an entitlement mentality. We live in this house together, I have a right to take your book. No, you don't. You have to respect boundaries. It's not yours. You have to respect the other person. In respecting the other person, it shows humility, it shows fairness, and it shows, you know, some other healthy characters like discipline. All this comes a long way in building healthy characters. Another thing I have here is that you must correct bad behavior. I know in this time and age, a lot of people they close their eyes to unhealthy behaviors, and they say they are children. Remember when we started, I told you that there's a school of thought in psychology that says that children are already made by the age of 5, and you know that is the time most parents neglect discipline. So we'll leave her, she's a child, she doesn't know what she's doing. Let me tell you, your children start testing your boundaries from 7 months. It's been researched. It's not like I'm just talking out of, it's been researched. When children are 7 months, they start crawling, you put something there, you say no, they look at you, they smile, you put it there, they say no, until they do it. And when they do it, you pick them away, you say no. Remember, at that stage is all friendliness, but you are firm. You say no. They come back. By the second, third, fourth time, if you insist on your no, they cry. They are testing your boundaries. They are saying, can I go further? So that is where you start. So you have to teach your children. You have to correct bad behavior. You have to correct it. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. I tell my children that bad behavior you don't correct, you allow to slide, will come back to haunt you. Because when you are so grown, it's already part of you. That's part of your character. When people want to describe you, that's who they say you are. So you must correct bad behavior. You must let them know that every behavior, every bad behavior has its consequences. And you must just let them know, and as much as possible, administer consequences. Administer it. Of course, at this stage, when children are adolescents, when they are teenagers, spanking is out of the way. I know we are tempted sometimes to give that slap, to give this, but that should not be a way of administering consequences. Spanking, we have said, is out of it. Yelling too is out of it. We've talked, the last speaker to talked about it. Yelling is out of it. Then how do we now administer? What you do most of the time is deny them of what they love for a time bound. In fact, I advise parents that you negotiate punishment, you negotiate consequences. If you don't do this, I'll take your laptop for the whole day, for 6 hours. And if you are doing that, you have to be firm. I'll take your phone for the next 3 hours. For talking back, you know it is not allowed. And for doing that, you won't just get to do that. And you sit down, you negotiate consequences together. So by the time you are bringing it to the table, it's not as if you are being unfair. This is fairness. We sat down, we pick consequences of each of the actions. You are supposed to wash plates. If I come back and the plate has not been washed, what should we do about it? Of course, you know that some consequences are vague. If I don't wash, then don't give me dinner. No, we are not talking about that. What is it that they cherish most? You deny them of those things for a few hours. And we should not be at both extremes when we are denying. You can't say, oh, so a child that you have left with a phone from age 13, age 10, and say, I'm going to collect your phone forever. You know, that seems a bit extreme. But when you make it time bound, they respect it, and then they tend not to do it again. But be firm. Be firm. Don't say, oh, and when it's just 20 minutes, they come begging. You know, these children, they know how to wrap us around their fingers. They come begging. So people say they know your mumu button. They start hugging you. They start, coming around and doing all that just to collect it. But you say, no, this is the we agreed together, and that is what it will be. You have been reported in school that you did not copy your notes. These are the consequences. For every bad behavior, there must be consequences. Another thing is, another way of building healthy character is giving responsibility. Giving responsibility. I watched a video today, and I think I'll post it on my house later, or I'll even send it to you. It's about, responsibility does not need to always be, when you talk of responsibility, it's like something hard, something. You can make responsibility fun while you are trying to build a character. You can make responsibility fun sometimes, but you must give responsibility. In the world out there, they have to be responsible for something. They have to be responsible for themselves, and they have to take up responsibility. It's easier for us to complain about situations around us. I tell teenagers, when you get to a place, look out for what you can do to make it better. Be responsible. Don't go to places and just sit back. What can I do? If you have not brought up a child to be responsible, of course the child will live and grow up not being responsible. So you have to give responsibility. One of the things I did early this year, at least from here is an example, is I bought 3 potted plants for my children, and I told them, apart from the responsibility you have in the house, I'm giving you responsibility over these potted plants, and I'll see them at the end of the year. If you water yours, I will know at the end of the year. If you don't water your plants, I would have loved to get puppies for them. You have to be responsible. You have to give apart from the chores. Chores is a no-no. Of course, I don't want to believe people still don't give their children chores, and they just wake up, they get up, they go out, they don't cook, they don't do anything. Life does not run that way. If you're in that category, even if you have a help, that does not stop you from giving your children responsibilities. You are responsible for this. And anytime it's not done, there are consequences. Because in the real world, if you don't do, there are consequences. So let us teach our children to be responsible. When you want extra, if you give them all the house chores, you are still feeling, oh, this, get them puppies. Get them something to look after. And, let them know that this is, I'm in charge of this, and I must do it well. Most of you, they are not meeting up to their responsibilities. You keep reinforcing it. This is what you are supposed to do. At some point, you may decide to introduce reward. Of course, when there are consequences, there must be reward. Sometimes you introduce, but not all the time. I say, I've made my bed, what are you going to give me? It's your bed. When you make it, you'll enjoy it. That's the reward of making your bed. Reward should not be all the time, so that it will not be abused. At the same time, consequences too, of course there are always consequences, but we should not be extreme. But they must know that there are consequences. Another thing is, this I encourage a lot in building in character, in building healthy character, is playing board games. It's playing games involving other people in their lives. Of course, when they play games, they learn fairness, they learn honesty, they learn tenacity, they learn to be resilient, they learn how to handle failure, because they won't win all the time. Encourage them to do sports. Encourage them to play board games. We are in a world now that we do a lot of computer games. You may not, but I'm sure you would thank me later. Let them play just ordinary Ludo. You will see honesty when somebody is trying to say no. And you are just teaching. In education there's something they call, they say when you are teaching someone with the, you are not intentional now. I remember before we finish, you are not intentional, but you create the environment of learning. Like, for example, if you want a child to love flowers, you can put flowers everywhere in the school. You can tell them to water flowers as they enter into the school premises. There's something you are trying to teach, but you are not just you are not being very obvious in your way of teaching it. I'll remember that particular phrase as we go on. So let them play board games. When playing board games, they know how to relate with people. Teaching our children social, meeting with people socially, their social well-being is gradually going into extinction. Some children don't even have friends, talk less of playing games with them. And then all they do is when they come back, they sit in front of the TV, they play with an imaginary friend. No. Let them play with their siblings. Do you know that some children can't even relate well with their siblings? Let them play games together. Let them do sports together. Invite their friends in. Let them play games together. You don't need to be part of the game, but you can be on the background and be looking. Oh, you are doing well. Oh, you get it. And see how they handle failure. This will actually lead to the next thing. We talk a lot about depression in teenagers. And one of the reasons is because they don't know how to navigate through failure. We give them everything they want. We stand for them every time there is an issue. We are always, we When you don't get this in school, you are just in school to fight for your child. If your child comes in and say, I didn't get this, you run to the teacher. Why is my child not getting all this? Of course, you know the capacity of your child. You know what your child can do. But sometimes you need them to goof a bit, so that when that happens, you will help them overcome that failure. See, in the real world, people fail and they stand up and they move on. Why is it that these days children fail and the first thing they think about is suicide? Or they cannot even, they can't balance competition, they can't cope with competition. Of course, we always come against, we always don't encourage unhealthy competition, but I'll keep saying this: in the real world there's competition. There's someone that wants to get ahead. How do you deal with it? And that is when the game thing actually comes into. How do you deal with it? You set your own goal and you meet it. When somebody is trying to outshine you, how do you deal with it? You know, so we need to teach our children how to navigate through failure. Oh, this is what you got this time. This is what you got last time. What happened? Oh, I didn't. Okay, so how do we do it? How do you get better? We need to help them. What that does is that it builds them. It builds them against every form of bullying, trolls. Do you know some people just read or trolls? Let me know the right pronunciation of this. When you post online and people start bashing you, even when you are doing the right thing, how will they overcome it? Some people, they listen to all these external voices, they listen to social media voices, and then they become depressed. But if they have learned over and over again, they've played games, they've done different things, they've failed, they've come back, they will know that this too shall pass. They know how to handle themselves. They know how to stand up for themselves politely. We are talking about building healthy characters in children. I'll be rounding this up soon. Then set good examples for your children. You can't be teaching honesty when you're always lying. You can't. You know, children learn by observation. Some parents are on the phone and they are saying, I'm out now. You're still in your room. They see you. They see all the lies. And when they lie, you now scold them, you slap, you yell. Meanwhile, that's what you do. So you have to set good example. If you are falling in a particular aspect, then you have to work on yourself as well. You have to work on yourself so that when you are setting, you will not need to do go through a lot of frustration. When you yourself, we don't do it. That's why I talked about family values. What are your values? We don't lie in this house. We don't bully people in this house. We are not rude people in this house. This is what we stand for. We treat people fairly. And then how do you test character? How do you know whether your children are actually taking it in? The reason why you need to test from time to time is just because you are building something. At some point you may just need to say, am I doing it well? So there can be tests of character. And how do you do that? How do they react to criticism? When people criticize them, how do they react? Do they get so bad and it's like for a whole day they are out of shape, they are just, how do you test? If it's like that, then you know that I need to work on this. I'm now talking of test of character. When you give them a little power in the house and say, as from today, you are in charge of soft drinks, how do they handle it? Do they begin to bully others, all the siblings? Or maybe you have a get-together and they are bringing in their friends. So you're in charge of the drinks, and you see how they handle it. Do they go out of the way to say, now I'm in charge, nobody else can do this? Or you see power using just because of that small responsibility, then you need to work on it. You need to give more responsibility in that line. You need to teach more. You need to help them and tell them you don't do this because you have power. Because that is what goes with them. Do you talk people down? I wrote here, how do they deal with mistakes? When they make mistakes, are they so hard on themselves, or they pick themselves up and they keep moving? Or that is like the end. I'm not going to like maths again because I didn't do well in maths. You are testing. When they make mistakes, when they make, how do they accept, get better and move on? Or are they all swollen and it's like for a whole week you have to talk? If that is the case, then you have to work on that. You have to let them know you can make mistakes. And if you make mistakes, this is the way out. That's why I talked about navigating through failure. Then how do they treat people that are lower than them? In case you have helps. That's how you know if you are doing a good job. How do they treat their teachers? For those that are in the very big schools, do they talk down on their teachers? Remember one day I went to school and my children wanted to greet the teacher and she said, hello. I said, what? We don't greet like that. You say, good afternoon, ma. Good afternoon, sir. Even to the cleaners. That they are working, work is dignity. So it's not for you to talk people down because you perceive that they are lower than you. How do you treat your helps? And that's why I talk about setting good example. If you treat the helps shabbily, you treat your drivers shabbily, that is just the way they know how to treat people. So we have to test from time to time that how do they treat, even how do they talk to you? How do they handle money? When you send them on errands, are they accountable? That's honesty. Or just say, I always leave them with the change, so they don't. So when they grow up, they don't know anything about accountability. They get anything, they spend it anyhow, and they don't have anybody to get back to. How do they handle money? How do they talk to you? Remember, now you are being friendly, but do you allow for rudeness and you say, oh, we are just friends? When even if you are friendly with your child, when they are getting rude, you have to tell them, no, that is boundaries. No, that is rude. You tell them. You say, no. I just said no. You say, no, that is rude. Rudeness is, then you take that opportunity and then you tackle that. Don't allow them to get away with it. So I think this is where I'm going to stop about building healthy characters. And you know that the age we are in, we do a lot of when you go for interviews, people now tell you that skill is a particular percentage, attitude carries more. Because if you have the right attitude, you can be corrected, you are teachable, you can get better. You can actually be the best. But when you are all skillful, you are brilliant by the books, but you cannot work with people, you cannot stay with people, then there's a problem. Nobody wants you around. So the big companies will tell you they prefer attitude. Of course they need skills, but attitude carry a greater percentage. So that is where I'm going to stop now, talking about how to build healthy characters. I think I need to go on to talk about building careers for our adolescents and our children, our teenagers. When we talk about career, for them, it's more of discovering their career rather than even building, because they've not started career. So I don't know if I can go ahead and start, or we take questions on this, or we take all the questions together. Okay, let's go to career development. And I said on career development is more about helping them discover suitable career. Helping them. And what are the things we look at when we want to help our children? Now, you know something about children. They start by saying, I want to be a doctor. Then at some point, I want to be a chef. Then at some point, I want to be a musician. At some point, I want to be a rapper. At some point, they get confused. They don't know what they want to become. So how do you help them discover suitable careers? I think the first thing is self-awareness for them as well. And when we talk about self-awareness, we are going to look at it in some categories. And I think the first thing I would like to talk about is what are their current values. I want to believe for now it will be about adolescents. For the children, just keep encouraging them. Some will even tell, I want to be a policeman because I like the policeman is always, and they even mean the traffic warden, not even the right policeman. I like the way those ones that used to tell you to move because they think of power and control and controlling the whole traffic. So at this point, the first thing is for the younger children, just keep encouraging them. If they say the wrong thing, some can say, I want to be a boxer. It's a career too, because Anthony Joshua got how much of billions, but we'll get to that. But the first thing is self-awareness, And when you talk about the aspect of self-awareness, I will want you to look at with your child is, what are your current values? What do you stand for? That's an aspect I would like you to sit with your child as they get to adolescence and they are more aware. What do you stand for? And some of them will tell you that they want peace. Some will say, justice. I don't like the way this is being done. Let them note it. In all of this, we have to be intentional. I think that word, we have stretched it and stretched it, but we need to keep talking about it. What are your current values? What do you love? Someone say, I don't like it. There's a whole lot of hatred in this world. Love. Can't we all just stay together and love one another? Why are some people killing other people? What are your current values? Is it respect? Is it honesty? That thing that they hold on to. Those are the things that will navigate them, because it talks about their passion. It talks about, that's the root of their passion. Because that is what will guide anything they eventually settle to do. Ask questions, let them take a pen and write down when you want to have all this career talk with them, especially as they grow into adulthood, adolescent, teenagers, and they start picking what they want to be. The next thing will be, what are their interests? At this point in time, what are your interests? And you will hear, I love music, in fact, you can even go to the genre of music. Is it R&B? Is it rap? Is it this? What are your interests? Is it in arts? Is it in nature? Is it in drama, dance, cooking? Is it in community service? Is it in community? Some children just like to help, They just want to be there to help. Is it in languages? Is it in games, sports? What are your interests? And you will note it by yourself as well. Even when you have this discussion, as you live, they are your children. You see what they are tilting towards. You see that in that thing they always, when it comes to techie things, when children want to write, they're always in front of the computer say, I want to do my own program. I want to do my own games. Some children, they just want to fix things, That's where the interest lies. If you are dancing or everything, it's none of their business. If I want to have this kind of presentation, you have a child that is always, oh, mommy, let me see your face. No, you can't use that earring. Oh, you have to use a powder. You can see where that is tilting to. And you have the other one that is saying, no, set your computer like this. Let me bring the camera. Let me plug. You see where that interest is. It's not in how my face looks. It's not in my hearing. It's not in what I'm wearing. Is on the techie part of the presentation. So you have to observe as well. So that when they come with the funny one, when they are confused, to say no, because they see someone doing it, you can direct them, you can navigate them. And the third one will be, even when we talk about interest, let them acquire skills, age-appropriate skills towards that interest, towards that line of interest. Don't throw it away. I have seen people that are medical doctors, they train to be doctors, and now they are saying they want to go back to they are not interested. I don't know what happened. Of course, we all know what happened. Don't let me say I don't know what happened. Probably they were forced to do it. That is not even their interest. That is not, but, oh, you are good in chemistry, you have to be a medical doctor. No. When a child says, I love music, and is always, knows the notes, good with musical instruments. Before even learning, you see them, then make sure you open up opportunities for them to get skills in line with their interests. Let them get skills in line with their age appropriate skills, in line with their, don't throw it away. Don't throw it away. Remember, their career will be what they will use a greater significant part of their life to pursue, to grow into. Even, so don't throw it away. Let them get age appropriate skills in the line of their interest. You like music, you like to learn how to play the drum set, you get notes so easily. As much as you can, help them in line with this. Then another thing is, in line with their interest, widen their horizon. Let the scope be wide. Sometimes when children are just into a particular space, they don't know what is happening, they tend to just go with it until. And how do you do that? Get them materials to look at. The child says, I want to be an engineer. I want to be an engineer. What type of engineer? Open up their mind to the various types by the programs they watch, by the magazines they read, by the people you intentionally make them meet, so that they will know that there is more to this. And when they know that, it will guide the career that is suitable, their choice of career. Remember, in all of this, you are not pushing them, you are just helping them. Because if you push them, there's a point you cannot push them again, and they go to what they want, and you feel so disappointed because you are not part of that, of what they want. It should be a journey for the two of you, so that at the end of the day, you don't raise adults that are grumpy. This is not what I want to do, mommy pushed me into it. You don't want to raise such adults. Don't push them, just help them navigate. The child is saying, I want to be a chef. Oh, then a child is good. Then you begin to see, this is what a chef does. But there are other professions that are related to this. We like to do it. We watch programs together. So we say, no, it's not a chef. I want to be a food scientist. I want to work in a lab to actually test food. You see that she wants to be a chef. Now it's narrowing because we have widened the horizon. And of course, when a child has an interest, it is always good to look at the professionalism of that interest. So let's go to the third one. Is now abilities. It's easy. We have talked about current values. We have talked about interest. What about abilities? And when we talk about abilities, they are in two forms. You have the physical ability, you have the intellectual abilities. And when you talk of abilities, this is what will really help them. If a child is not good, a child does not, when we talk of physical abilities, we are talking of having strength, physical strength, stamina, speed, flexibility. If a child does not have stamina, and child is always saying, I want to be a boxer, you know that there's a problem. Not all children are very strong physically. Even when they do sports, you see the one that is always running to the field, and see the one that stays back, that does not want ball to touch the leg. Even when the ball is coming, the child jumps, doesn't even want it to touch, does not have the stamina to be running round. And you have the one that has physical abilities. What we do with that one with physical ability is to navigate that child into that ability. Some people are into, they are footballers, they are professional footballers. And I've seen some people that actually studied engineering, but they are professional footballers, and they get to, when they stop working as a footballer, they begin to work on that, in that same sporting environment, in that same, now using their abilities, now using their intellectual abilities, is now at work in the area of their interests. So what are their abilities? Physical abilities, intellectual abilities. When you talk about intellectual abilities, some children are very good, verbal communication, they are proficient in a particular subject, They are in numbers, they are very good in memory. They can, then you know where to navigate such child to, you know. So some children are, they are just their abilities is just in their head. Just give them anything to solve. That's who they are. They are analysts, they are thinkers. They can just bring the figures, they'll give you and they will help you. But when it comes to, don't push, don't say because boxers are getting so much, then my child has to be a boxer. You have to help them. If does not have the stamina, don't even go there. Instead, you navigate them through. And the last one, which I know a lot of people might be really waiting to hear, is their personality. And another word for personality is their temperament. With the kind of person they are built up to be, what can they do? And it's actually introverts and extroverts. And under the introverts, of course, you have the melancholic, you have the phlegmatic, and you have the sanguine and the choleric on the other side of the table. Those ones are the extroverts. Let me just go through just few things about these personality traits, because it goes a long way to know the profession they will fit into. When a child is a sanguine, when you talk of sanguine, they have to go inside the life of the party, the popular, the one that's always fun. When it gets there, the voice is the loudest. You know that such child will be good in marketing, will be good in fashion, in acting, in all those kind of career. That's a career interest. The child is choleric. That means that child, that confident, forceful, goal-oriented. Mommy says we should do this and we have to do it and we'll see it to the end. Such children are choleric. And most of the time they are short-tempered. They have short fuse because they just want it to be done. And we know that for such children, they are good in business, technology, management, programming, politics. They are very good because they see a project to the end. And you have the melancholy. They call them the water type of they are just not stable emotionally. When they go into the mood, it takes God, but they have their good parts. They have close. When they have friends, they hold on to that friendship. They are artistic, they are organized, they are analytical. That means it's step by step the way they think. It's not like sanguine that's all over the place. We do it like this, we do it like this. At the end of the day, you don't even know how you want to do it. And this the melancholic, they are very good in management, even in social work, surprisingly, in administration, in accounting. Then you have that friend, the phlegmatic, easygoing, nothing bothers that person. He gets along with everybody. His balance is steady. They are always calm and they are slow. They are easygoing. Of course, the work they can do most, that they fit into most, is nursing, teaching, counseling, charity, and all that. So that's why I'm going to be rounding up. But whatever career path your child will eventually settle for, reassure them constantly and support them in their final decision. Remember, you are not the one making the decision. It's their decision to make. You are just trying to navigate them. Then expose them to biographies of people that have been in this career. Expose them. Get books. So you want to be an engineer? Do you know that person is an engineer? I'll bring the. Maybe you need to read some things about the person. You can get them mentors. Even in building characters, you can get mentors. Get them mentors, and in that area of their career choice, so that they can always have someone to talk to ask questions if that is not your own area. So this is where I'm going to stop. If there are questions, I'm open to questions. Thank you,
Ma. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Okay. Thank you so much, Ma.
You're welcome.
Delved every area of character development, career development, it's into personality. You've really done a good
Really
job.
done a
Thank
good
you
job.
so
Thank
much,
you
ma.
so much, ma'am.
I don't know if
I
you
don't know
have
if you have
so in case
so in case
anyone
anyone
still here
still here
has
has
questions, then
questions, then
so that we
so that we
can
can
respond to it.
respond to it.
Let me check.
Let me
I'm
check.
going to
I'm
go
going
to
to
Facebook.
Facebook.
Let me
Let
see
me
the
see the
question.
question.
I don't think there's
I
any
don't think there's
question.
any question.
We don't have any
We don't have
question.
any question.
But I have a
Well, I have a
question.
question. Okay.
So now that you've
So now
spoken
that you've
about
spoken about
career
career
development,
development,
spoken about character
character
building,
building,
and one
and
thing I
one thing
realized
I realized,
we need to
we
build
need
the
to build the
character
character
first.
first.
So that when they're
So when the
when they're
building, when
developing
they're developing
their
their
career and
career
all
and
that,
all that,
they'll do
they
it
do
in
it
line with the
with the
character they've
character
developed
they've
from
developed
home.
from home.
So my
So
question
my
is this:
question is this:
if you have a
if you have
child
a child
that's
that's
still a
still a
teenager,
teenager,
like a young
a
adult,
young adult,
and the
and
child
the child
does not
does
know
not
what
know
he wants
what
to
he
do in
wants
his
to do
life,
in his life,
what can we
what
do as
can
a
we do as
parent?
a parent? Um, like I said, you will know the abilities of the child. Even if the child does not know, as a parent, you know what the child is actually tilting towards. You know the child's ability, you know the child's personality, you know the child's I said another thing, interest.
Interest.
Interest. Yes, if you know all that and the child's value, you can put that together and suggest to the child from time to time. That's what I always do to most of the teenagers. Sometimes when they come, like I said in the beginning, as they get to that adolescent age, they are confused themselves. Today say I want to be a medical doctor, then tomorrow say I think I'll be a good lawyer. Then let's start with the abilities. If you want to be a medical doctor, let's say where you are proficient, your subject proficiency. Because if you want to be a medical doctor and then you say I hate biology, then you
Oh, I
know
don't
that
like
that
God.
is I don't like biology. Then you know that you can't be a doctor and not like biology. Biology is the core of medicine. So when you look at the what their abilities, it will help you to suggest to them. You suggest to them because you know as a parent, you know where they are good. You actually know from the beginning when they start manifesting different behavior, you know that he's a good lawyer. And you know they are good with literature, but when it comes to, so you have to have that discussion. So why do you want to be a doctor? Saying that practically biology is not your thing. Okay, we say because I love people. So what are the professions that will still make you love people, help people without you doing biology? Then you can now go to you just give them options. You research it with them, and then you can do a personality test. You can do a personality test for your children. There are so many free personality tests that they will know. It's something they are always excited to do, and at the end of the day you say this is your strength. You see, this is your strength. There are so many things you can do even with the kind of person you are. So for those confused teenagers, bring up their interests, their abilities, let them see by themselves. At the end of the day they make the decision, but you guide them in making the decision. You bring them different things. Now the range of careers is not tradition again.
Yes.
It's not.
You
There
have
are some children. Yes.
in the family, we're not in existence.
Yeah. Before you say when you do physics, chemistry, biology, then you be either a doctor, engineer, this. But there are so many. There are biotech engineers. They are doing sciences, but they are going into biotechnology. I don't want to call them strange, but they are now careers that something that 10 years ago you would not have thought of it as a
I even
career.
heard something like more like fintech, financial technology.
Yes. So you see children picking a bit of this and a bit of this, and then by the time you merge it together you find a career. Now there's nothing like you don't know this, you can't do this. You can still bring a bit of this, a bit of sciences, a bit of, and by the time you both sit down and you look at the subject combination and you look at their abilities, you see that they will be very good at this. You suggest it, let them research it, and let them see if it's something they will like. If they have come back they say no, that's not, then you keep suggesting. It's a journey for the two of you and
No,
you
there's
get
not
there.
this thing. What we're talking about, I'm really not about being serious. He loves business. He loves me. And he also loves IT. So I was like, okay, since you love business, I love IT. Why don't you for a course that something that have to do with the two interests? So it's like to go for management sciences from the MIS. But later changed to computer or to the option business.
Yeah. Really, our educational system, I'm believing that will get better. You know, it
Yes.
streamlines children in a set, in a career path that, what I'm trying to say is this: if you go abroad, there are some courses they will say this with business option. So you
Yeah.
are doing, yeah, so you are doing your IT, your programming, at the same time you are taking courses in the business department. So at the end of the day you can merge the two together. For now in our institution, I don't know how well they are doing that. I don't know how well they are doing that, but these are the things. If you have the opportunity for them to do a masters, to combine, to help them further, we can do that. If not, you can actually go online and still look for courses side by side, what they are doing that will help them, just to gather that knowledge, so that at the end of the day they will be fulfilled.
Thank you very much. Have a conversation with you. The most important thing is to feel the life.
Yes.
I'm of the opinion that if you don't treat your children right, when they are out there, you're not with them. How will they survive? That's why it's very important for children for the future. And that's the aim of this smart online workshop. Preparing the adults and young because the future is already
The future is here.
here. So as
Yeah.
parents, we need deliberate a preparing them instead of thinking that so when they leave home, when they'll be able to survive without calling, without being called you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. There's a last thing I want to say, which is very important. It's like, it's good for your children to have mentors. Please, it's good for you to have someone your children can talk to. It helped me a lot as a teenager. There are some things you don't want to tell your parents, because maybe because of the familiarity, you think they will not understand. But it's good for them to talk. It's good for your children to talk, to have somebody they can talk to. And as much as possible, you can develop friendship with the mentor, so that if there's anything you need to take note of, they actually sometimes report you to their mentors. They report you, so mommy will not understand when I'm saying this, she's saying this. So the mentors are like the another source for you to hear your children. In all confidentiality, it's not for you to get it and say, your mentor said this. No, it's for you to take notes, because they may be saying some things they can't tell you, but they are telling someone, and the person gives you the hint. Then it's for you to say, oh, I need to work on this, and then look for ways you can talk about it without giving out the mentor. Because if you do that, they don't trust the mentor again, they don't talk to the mentor again. Yes, it's very important.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I really appreciate this. Thanks. In fact, we've gone overboard more than 1 hour. Thank you so much. I
You're
hope when I should
welcome.
call you to come here
I'm always here, starting.
Okay, so I'm
Okay,
going
so I'm
to
going to
go to the
go to
video now while I round up. So thank you everyone for being part of this workshop. This is day 2. Tomorrow is our third day, and we have two wonderful people that will be talking to us. Someone will be talking about how to develop social skills in our children, and the sixth person will be talking about how to create financial independence, how to make them financially independent and financial discipline, to instill the financial discipline in them. So thank you very much, everyone. It's been an awesome time today. We started today with Coach Sam. We had Fina. Now we have Stamolade Oyeleke. Thank you very much, everyone. Tomorrow is another wonderful time. Thank you so much. So have a nice evening, everyone. Bye.